shit.
Hightailed it out of there.
Are you crazy? Don't go between them! Go between them! Are you crazy?
Welcome to my home.
Well, good morning. So, it's about to be afternoon eventually, but good morning. So today we have the afternoon stream. I'm super excited, and I made a video yesterday, and I realized that afterwards I had this whole thing, and I cut it out. Like I completely cut it out because I did a bad take, and so it was I had upgraded these cases and everything, and literally how I paid for this was you guys. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to the channel members. Thank you to everybody that's been buying the shirts and the mugs, and I've gotten some positive feedback from that. So that's awesome. And without that, I wouldn't have been able to do yesterday's video. So I did record it, but then I screwed up, and so when I actually uploaded it, that wasn't in there. So I do thank you to everybody, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. But you never have to do any of that. Just a thumbs up always works for me. Now, as we dive into that, it is Saturday. I'm excited. So there's a few things that we do here tradition-wise. Before we dive into all the new stuff, we say hello to the people in the chat. But hello, thank you for being here. Is the Saturday afternoon tradition. Like what I'm going to be watching this Saturday afternoon, movie recommendations. And if you have any Saturday afternoon movie recommendations, throw them up in the chat. If you're watching this on the back end on Monday, Tuesday, whatever, definitely throw down a comment, because if it's right up my alley, I'll definitely check it out. If you recommend it, I'll check it out. But if it's like right up my alley, I'll just blind buy it. And so this one right here, this is the one I'm going to watch this afternoon. This was an Olive Films release, Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. Now this is a raunchy comedy. It's absolutely ridiculous. And instead of turning into this like monster, Dr. Jekyll turns into basically a pimp. And as he's changing and transforming, like gold rings show up on his fingers, and it's ludicrous. You have an early cameo. I would say it's cameo because it's Elvira. She's in this, but she's not Elvira. It was one of her very early roles, and she has a doctor's mask on, so you don't even really know it's her, but it's her. Oh, Cassandra Peterson, that's who it is. Yeah, so she's in this, but this is just an overall ridiculous raunchy comedy, great Saturday afternoon film. And like I said, it was Olive Films, so I don't know if you're going to be able to find this anytime soon, but that's what I'm watching. If you can find it, check it out. Super fun one. And normally I have like a boutique Blu-ray label, so I guess it'd be Olive Films, but they're out of business, so some of these are still available. I definitely have been getting some brand new ones still on Amazon, so that's something to look out for. But the other one that I'm going to watch, I already watched it for last month, but I'm going to watch it again because I just absolutely love it. And it was Lesbian Vampire Killers. Now, this one recently, apparently, the name Lesbian Vampire Killers has offended people. So now they've just changed it to Vampire Killers. But this was a great, fun film. We never got a Blu-ray here. So this was a French import. But you don't even need a region-free player to play this one because it played in all of my players just fine. Even though it says that it's region locked to region B, it's region free by accident or on purpose or whatever, but it worked no problem. But highly recommend it. Super fun comedy, great Saturday afternoon film. Another raunchy one. But let's dive into the chat. Thank you for being here. Let's see who's here today. We have, oh, hey, what's up, Brian? Best Movie Standing. Check his channel out. The dude is super awesome. We've become friends over the past couple months, but like if I wasn't on YouTube, he would literally be my favorite YouTuber. Like I enjoy watching everything he puts out. Let's see, I'm awake, but I'm asleep. But I'm here, sort of. Okay, well, that's fine. JJ the Collector, hey, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Afternoon, it's 7 a.m. Well, it's not 7 a.m. here, but that's early. Appreciate you for being here so early. What a trooper. Wilkie's Movies and Music, good morning. And hey, that guy as well also has a fun channel. Like I just did a show with him on Thursday. Great conversation. Really, really enjoyable. Check him out as well. Thomas DiCarlo, hola, hola. And Night 90 of Living Robert. Hello. Well, hello. So yeah, so we have that to dive into. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, but as obviously always, if we go on a tangent and I'm not able to complete everything we were going to talk about today. Everything I'm talking about, all the new pre-orders and all the new releases, that's always down in the comments down below. Also, my social media links, all that stuff. You can follow me there, and I'm usually on top of it, especially if you're sending me messages and whatever. I'm on top of the social media. I don't always post on Twitter because it's a drama center, but Instagram, I post stuff on there, you know, decently, I guess. But yeah, you can always check that out. And we're going to dive into, I have some stuff to talk about here. I know that I have some upgrades, and we have movies that are finally getting a 4K that I don't think they had Blu-rays. So this one specifically, well, this one did. This one has a Blu-ray, but I held out because I knew the 4K was coming someday. But this movie just got announced, Houseboat. Now it's an old Cary Grant film, and I understand like older films aren't for everybody, but I love them. I love older films, and this Houseboat, this only ever had a DVD and never had a Blu-ray. So this is finally getting put out by Kino Lorber. So that's going to be something we're talking about. And I love it. I love Sophia Loren, but like she had the short hair in here. And I was just like, even though I like the film, and it's another one that, my dad used to watch all the time. So then after he passed, like I watched it more and I enjoy it a lot more now. But Sophia Loren with the short hair, not for me. So we have that. And we're talking about Reindeer Games today. So Reindeer Games is one of my all-time favorites. This is a great Christmas watch. If one of those like arguments that is a Christmas movie, it isn't a Christmas movie. That one right there is top notch for me. And this is finally getting a 4K. So looking forward to that as well. So let's dive. Oh, we got some more people here. Let's say hello. Blue Corner. Hey, brother. I guess it's Saturday again already. Yes, it comes fast. Definitely comes fast. Dolfo Rivera, hello. Hola, just finished watching T2 Train Spotting in 4K. Ooh, I really liked it. Yeah. Train Spotting, that's one that like, did, yeah, that's one I've never seen. It comes highly recommended. There's a lot of people that talk about it. It's the one with Ewan McGregor, right? That's one that I just I don't know, for whatever reason, when it came out, there was a time in my life where I was just like, I wasn't really interested in it. But since then, like everyone has recommended it and said it's a great film. And it's just not that I really kind of put it off. It's just never really at the forefront of, when I'm going to buy movies, it's never in front of my face. It's one of those ones that it's another one. If I happen to be in a store, it was on the shelf, I would 100% just give it a try, but it's never there. And then we don't have movies on shelves anymore. It's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, that's something that it's never been high on my list, but it's always been like on the back of my mind of like something I got to watch someday. Frank's Media. Hey, brother. Thanks, Frank, for coming in. Frank's got a good channel too. He talks about all kinds of stuff, but a lot of horror movies. And I'm not a huge horror hound. Like, I like horror movies, but it seems like Frank likes a lot of horror movies. JJ the Collector. I need Reindeer Games in 4K. Love that one. Will always remember Charlize Theron in the pool. Yeah, that's a good one. I love this film, and like this is one where if you've seen it, you know that there's a twist in this, and it falls in that like why is there there's no rewatchability for some people because they know the twist. Nah, this one's great, and I actually in preparation for this 4K coming out, I want to talk about it. I just watched it this week, and I still love it. I think it's great, and this still definitely has high rewatchability for me. But obviously, I play it only around Christmas time if there's snow on the ground or supposed to be snow on the ground because we don't get snow here. Then it's time for me to watch this film. Big fan. Adolfo Rivera says I recommend the two movies. Yeah, I'll check them out. Well, I mean, T2, big fan. Always watching that one. Uh, I think you're the only person who does Saturday morning physical media talk. I think it's cool. I'm joining you with coffee. Yeah, that's the point. And it's like, you can do it however you want, but I do have the coffee mug. So I did get these. So they're in the store. So if you want to, join the club and have the mug, you can always do that. But you can always drink your own coffee and drink your own mug and tell me to go pound salt. It's fine. It's fine. But yes, having coffee in the morning and talking about movies, I think it's just a great way to do it. Because I was like, a long time ago, because I've been on YouTube for a little while, and I used to stream, and I only streamed late at night because it was one my family schedule. It was when my youngest daughter could go to bed, and like she wouldn't be she wouldn't need me. So like if like a year or two ago, like if I was trying to do this, she'd be knocking on the door, she'd feel lonely. There'd be like a whole thing. She occupies herself now. So now I can just, let her do her thing on Saturday morning. But then also my internet sucks. So there's a lot of times where it just goes out like for and we've had internet out for days and it just kind of sucks in this area. So the best time for me to use the internet is actually kind of right now because most people are sleeping in. And then like really, really late at night. So I used to stream late at night and it was fun, but it also kind of sucked because then like I would sleep in early the next day and then my whole day would be wasted. But I had fun. But yeah, the morning thing, I think this is a good stream. But then like if I did it a little bit later, everyone starts waking up and they start using Netflix and streaming, and then so like the internet just goes it'd be a waste. But yeah, I appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you for being here. Let's see, what do we got here? And Adolfo Rivera says, thankfully, I waited to buy the last voyage of the Demeter. Yeah, we're talking about that today. Now, I did pick up the Blu-ray. Now, that was one, I'm a huge fan of Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Absolutely love that movie. I love the book. The story's great. And I even like Nosferatu, like the old silent film. Like, I like that. So I'm into vampires. Now, I had high hopes for the last voyage of Demeter. Now, I don't dislike the film by any means, but at the same time, like, there's only a reason why it's such a short chapter in the book, or I think it's only like one chat. Like, it's a very small portion of the book, and so like to stretch it out for the whole movie, I thought was fine. But at the same time, like I was like, give me more. I want more. Like, and so like that was the thing. Like I wasn't super like I was glad I picked it up because I picked it up on Blu-ray. I think it was like $5, and so I don't know if I need the 4K because it's also a brand new film shot digitally. I think it's shot digitally. It looks digital. It's beautiful on Blu-ray. It looks amazing on my OLED. So I don't necessarily need the 4K. But if I had the choice, I would have always picked the 4K over the Blu-ray if I hadn't picked that. If I didn't have one initially. So that is also a frustrating thing where almost all new movies are being put out on Blu-ray and then within a year or so the 4K comes out. That's a very frustrating thing. So on top of the price gouging and the crazy prices, that's something that's starting to like, and I know it's been bothering people for a while, but it's something that's really starting to get under my skin. Let's see. Last movie standing. Brian says, just Googled Reindeer Games pool. I hate you guys. Haha, I might have to buy this now. Yeah, yeah, that's a must buy. It is. Oh, and then you have the scene where he's in the bathroom and he comes out to check her out and she's in her underwear looking at herself in the mirror. There you go on that one. Froggy with Fries. Hello, thank you for coming in. I would love to see an anime 4K breakdown. I am not the anime guy, so I don't dislike anime, but it's something that kind of always flew under my radar. So I have like a whole shelf over there, that bottom shelf there is all anime, and I haven't got through all of it. It's something that's kind of really been new into my life. But the most that I picked up are the ones that I have loved the live action version, and then there's an anime version. So I've checked some of those out, not all of them, but I have like 5 in my collection where I have the 5 top live actions, then I have a couple of the animes as well to check out. So I have that. But Brian, the anime guy, he's been kind of a friend for a long time, like for about a couple years now. We've been talking back and forth on Twitter, and he has a channel and he comes out and watches my videos sometimes. I watch his. Great guy. But like if you want anime stuff, go check that guy out. Not Brian, Brandon, the anime guy. Great guy. He would be the guy to do that for. I am not, well versed in anime enough to be able to break stuff down like that. But I have dipped my toe in some anime, and so there's some that I like, and some that I don't. But I have noticed a huge difference just from because I tried it out. Because I said before, I don't do streaming here, but I've tried it out when there's been free stuff just to see what it's all about. So the Crunchyroll had a free month, and Brandon's always been trying to get me into anime, and so I tried it out, and there was one that I watched because my daughter was like super into it, and I think it was called it was Spy Family. So we got that one, and we watched it on the streaming. It was fine. We bought the Blu-ray. Just the quality difference from the streaming to the Blu-ray, even on the animated stuff, like there was a noticeable difference in quality. So I would assume if you're talking about that 4K, 100%, unless there's an actual something called 4K. I don't know. Hope that answered your question. Are you buying the Suspiria 4K? I have the new one. I have Suspiria on 4K. I have the old one. So the remake. I've never seen the remake yet, and I did want to get the imprint version, and that I believe has the 4K in the box. I think it has 2 discs, and I think it's the new one. So that's the one I'm trying to get. Is that's Suspiria? I haven't seen it yet, but I have the original Dario Argento's Suspiria. I have that in 4K. Love it. I think it's a beautiful transfer, amazing colors, great. The film's still wild though. The film is like it's one of those I like it, but it's weird and I can't like it's like Mulholland Drive. It's good, but it's weird and it's something that doesn't have like a linear story, I don't think. Like there's stuff you could break down, but it's weird. It's definitely a weird one. I like it. Let's see. Oh, Froggy Fry says, thanks for the info. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Brandon the anime guy's like the best guy to anything anime. Check him out for real. Do you know a good way to clean DVDs, Blu-rays that have smears on them? So if they've been like ridiculously smeared, the two ways that I've been able to do it very well is the last resort method is to just run it underwater, like open the tap, run it up, let it get all wet, but then take a microfiber cloth, and that's the last because like there is supposed to be like crap in your water and stuff. But I haven't had an issue and I've only ever had smears and smudges on used media. So when I could buy stuff at thrift stores, sometimes you get stuff like that, and so that was a way to clean it. But using a microfiber cloth and just kind of gently rubbing it until it finally comes off. And then I use there's this chemical spray bottle. You can get it at Best Buy, you can get it on Amazon, and it's for specifically cleaning LCD screens. And then they always come with microfiber cloths. So that's the method I go to first. But like the last resort is the tap water, and then using a microfiber cloth and just kind of rubbing the hell out of it, and then using the cleaner spray and polishing it up a little bit. But other than that, like those are the two methods I've used, and I haven't had any issues. I mean, obviously results may vary, but I haven't had any issues on my end doing that. No scratches, no anything. And there was like one that was just like when I got it, I don't know what it was. Like it was like a kid had like peanut butter or something. Like it was like this weird smear on it, and it just no matter how I cleaned it, it just kept like leaving this weird residue. And so that's why I took to the tap water thing. It just kept smearing no matter how I did it. I used the spray bottle, used the microfiber cloth, and it just kept like leaving this cloudy smear crap all over. And yeah, tap water thing fixed it. But again, there's particles in your tap water, so potentially you could be scratching it, potentially, but I didn't see nothing. Let's see. And Phantasmagorical. Hey, everybody. Hello. Hello. All right. So we got all that covered. We talked about the recommendations this week, stuff that I'm into. And as we dove into all of that, let's see. All right. Let's go into what's coming out. So there's a lot of stuff. There's actually oh man, I had the rumor. Ninja Turtles? That's the rumor. Normally I try to, if there's rumor stuff and I have it, I try to bring it up to associate it. But like, yeah, that was the thing. So Ninja Turtles is the rumor. We've been talking about it. I have speculated it for months now. I've mentioned it randomly throughout videos, and like one of the last live streams, I was like, that wishful thinking speculation. I think it's coming out because of the anniversary. But recently, many people have talked about this already. I've seen a bunch of videos. I know Ken over at Mid-Level Media, he definitely did a whole video on it. But Ernie Reyes Jr., if you don't know, he was one of the stuntmen in the Donatello suit for the first one, and then he was Kino in the second movie. And so those are just movies I absolutely love. I grew up with them, and it's something that I'm dying to get on 4K, but I want a nice big chunky box set. Now that's been speculated for a while, and as everybody's talked about it, I actually don't want to negate the special features. So Ninja Turtles has like tons. I have a couple, like I have a DVD, I think it's called Turtle Power, and then I have a VHS tape that's like a whole background scenes make. I would like all that stuff to make it into this. And so like I don't know what's going to be available. Obviously it's rumors right now. Ernie Reyes had just posted a picture of him being interviewed, and all his hashtags said Turtles 4K and coming in 2025. Like, so there's that, but there's no like what is coming. And I would love for like it to be just chock full, because this stuff's available. It's been available for a long time. It's, and like I said, there's stuff on DVD, and I think that's the only place because, and I don't know. Oh, I did bring it up here. So this like has like no special features on it. And I mean, obviously, I watched this, and this is one of my favorite movies. But this was horrible. It was lackluster. It came with an Echo case, so this was already replaced a long time ago. But this has nothing, man. And to have all those special features, now I still watch them. I watch the old ones on my VHS tape. I pop them in the VCR all the time. The DVD I watch. If you've never seen it, the Turtle Power one is an excellent like background scenes commentary stuff about the turtles, because it goes into all the detail. Like if you were ever a big fan of those old comic books before the movie came out, like you learn that. And if you read those comic books, you can see it. There's scenes from the comic books that they put in that first movie. They were sitting on the floor tearing pages out of the books to then put scenes together and figure it out. And so that was just something that I always loved. But after I read the comic books as an adult, I appreciated that movie a million times more. Big fan. So yeah, that was part of the rumors that we had to talk about. But it's like a solid rumor. I mean, like Ernie Reyes posted, he's being interviewed for commentary stuff for the 4K. So that's solid. Just who's going to release it, what's coming with it, the special features. Is it just the first one? And I assume it's the first one. I assume we're just getting that, because why wouldn't they want to milk it and stretch it out? But I would love to have a nice big box set with all three of them. And I'm thinking it's coming out of Umbrella. I don't know where it's coming from, but they did that release last year, and it was just a very plain, simple Blu-ray release, and nothing else got all the other stuff gets big chunky box sets. And why would that not? I'm expecting them to just crank out like a badass 4K set next year. But it could come from anybody. You don't know. JJ the Collector's, oh, he's talking, oh yeah, he's talking to Brian. Yeah, it is a must. It's a must. And yeah, rip Tony Todd. Yeah, that is something. Candyman, he's done quite a bit. He was wasn't he the mortician or wasn't he in the heck were those movies? Final Destination. Wasn't he in some of those movies? I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, rip Tony Todd. Hell of a man. Let's see. What else we got? Okay, so as we dive into that, we have all the new stuff coming out. So November has a few things and stuff we've seen before. So nothing like crazy new, except for that John Wayne 4K. It's getting a 4K and a Blu-ray coming out of, looks like Warner Archive. And Warner Archive's now going to be doing 4Ks. That looks awesome. We also have this one here. So let's start off with this one. So it's something that I want to mention it because it's obviously it's coming out, but it's something that it's not new. But the price listed here on Amazon, even though it's a whole collection, I think it's crazy. Like I was interested, but I'm not a steelbook guy. So let me share this screen with you. Let me share the screen. So we have this. So yeah, this one right here is something that let's see. Let me get me over here. Okay, so yeah, Hatchet. It's listed at $80, and I know that sometimes on Amazon, if you pre-order something and then it goes, and when it gets shipped, it's a lower price. But $80, and what is that for 3 movies? I mean, it might be kind of standard. I don't know. It just felt like a little bit of a sticker shock to me. Higher price. It's a movie that I've never seen, but Danielle Harris is in it, and I like her, and it's a horror film, so it's something that it's in my wheelhouse. I like slashers, so even though it's something I've never seen, it's a hard buy at $80, and it's a complete collection. So I'm not even sure how many movies are in that. So Hatchet 2, 3. So it looks like just the 3 movies, right? So 3 movies for $80. And then if you figure if you bought one at 25, you're at like 75. So it's about that. But for some reason, it just feels like a sticker shock. I don't know. I feel like if you were always buying like a triple pack like that or something, it was in the like $50, $60 price range. But to like crank it out at 80, and if you did buy them individually, you'd probably spend about 25 each. And so you're looking at 75. So that would be fair. But in the triple pack, like I feel like I'm buying a bundle. I want it a little bit cheaper. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel that that's just a big price. Blue Corner says there's 4 Hatchet movies, and no, to me at least, they're not worth it. Yeah, see, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. It's like it's a huge blind buy, so I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but that is the first one that was coming out. A movie I'd like to see. So I mean, if it's on Tubi or something, maybe I'll try and stream it. But then we have this is coming out in December, and it's something that I actually had an opportunity to pick it up. And I don't pick up all the John Wayne films because I'm not a huge Western guy. There's a few that I like, and there's a few John Wayne films that I like. But this one here, it feels like I must support it because it's a 4K and it looks like the first one. Yeah, Warner Archives putting this out. So there's a Blu-ray available as well. But like this is something that I mean, I don't know if I was into it. So I got to check out the trailer. I might get it, but it's very intriguing and I do love to support. So if, it's the one of those things you support the things you love or it goes away kind of mentality. So I think that, I would want to get it, but if obviously I don't know if it's worth getting. But it's interesting and it's worth noting that finally Warner Archive is starting to dip their toe into 4K movies and they have a huge back catalog, stuff they've never even touched yet. There's plenty of Warner Archive stuff that's still only on DVD and hasn't even made the Blu-ray. So there's stuff I would love to get, like Carney with Jodie Foster. That's a great one that only has a Warner Archive DVD. And it was when they put it out, it was around the time they started doing the MOD discs. So the version is a burned copy and like the crappy case and everything. So a nice release of Carney would be great. Gary Busey's in that one too. It's a good film. Blue Corner says The Searchers is one of Wayne's biggest hits. Well, somehow I missed it. I've never heard of this one, and I have to check it out. Like I said, recently I saw this available on VHS at the thrift store, but I passed it up and I picked something else up instead. But yeah, that's something I'd be interested in. And obviously, depending on the price, if this comes out at like 35, close to the $40 price range on a 4K, I probably just opt for the Blu-ray at that point. Let's see. There's that one. We also have coming out, we have this one. Here's something that I like the packaging, and it looks like it's a UK release, but this looks like, let's see, when was this? 78. Yeah, it looks completely like 70s cinema horror, right up that, this is something that I would have found back when I was a kid in the 90s, like getting movies at the video rental store. This is something the cover would have probably got me, the whole 70s horror, and then you were bound to probably be tons of nudity. So this one right here, Satan's Blood. Now, this is something I never heard about it. I think the price point's fair. Obviously, I don't know what the conversion is. I'd have to put that in, but I don't think it's a bad price. And it looks like the packaging is like a little bit thicker than just a standard Blu-ray or DVD case. But this is coming from Treasured Films. It's another boutique label that I've heard of, but I don't know if anybody really mentions them or talks about it. So I don't have any in my collection. But this one right here, even though I don't know if I would jump on this version, I know for a fact teenage me would have rented this at the video store in a heartbeat. So it's something I might want to check out the trailer for this one. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting one. Let's see. Admiral Wackass. Hey, brother. Yeah, Searchers is great. Yes. Yeah, and I was like, I love that guy. So we're also friends. We've been friends for a long time, but he's a little bit younger than me. But man, he loves all the old films, and so I will probably get the Searchers just on that recommendation alone. Chris Harris. Hey, thanks for coming in. I'm all right. Well, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here, and I'm glad you're all right. Funny, the number one title people flock to for new 4K when it comes to Warner Archive is Texas 3. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know. I might get the Searchers. I might get it. I have to check it out first. Like it is one of those things. Like, well, I mean, Admiral Wackass just told me it's a good film, so I'm just gonna probably buy it now. It's one of those things. Those things. There's, and like I will take any recommendation always, but there are certain people I've known them for such a long time. If they recommend anything, it's a no brainer. Let's see, January we have that's one that we talked about already. So last voyage of the Demeter. Now it's coming. I don't know what extra special features it has. It has a $40 price tag right now. I don't know if that's something that Oh, that's the wrong one. I don't know if that's something that's going to go lower as well. Like, but it does seem like everything is, you know, going higher and higher and higher. There's plenty of people that are talking about how there's price gouging and the physical media, home video, all this stuff to own is just crazy. I was like, also gas is up, bread's up, like everything's really expensive right now. So this stuff is, expensive, but at the same time, like some of it feels really price gouging and some of it just feels like it's expensive because it's just what everything else is. So at that $40 price range, I'm not in at $40, even if I didn't have the film. Now I have it on Blu-ray. Now this one I was in at 27. That's where I'm at. Like if I didn't have the film at all and it's something I was like dying to see, 35 that for 34.99 price tag is kind of pushing it. But like I said, I already have. Oh, I thought I shared the screen. There it is. So $40 price tag on that. And again, it's something that it might go lower when it gets released. And I don't know why Amazon does that because when you look at some of these titles in other countries, especially on Amazon, the price that they have it for seems to be also the price that it gets released at, which is always cheaper than our price. So, because I know Friends was like, when it first listed, it was like $260. The Amazon UK Friends, that version was about 200 bucks, like 180 something or whatever. And then when ours got released, it was about $200 in that range. So it lowers the price. And it seems like every single time it's only the American ones are more expensive, but these prices are starting to creep up a lot higher than I expected. And I don't know if it's even coming with any extra special features. You're getting the digital HD, the slipcover, all that stuff, embossed print, 2K Blu-ray, a 4K Blu-ray region free. So the 2K Blu-ray is locked. And that was the thing is I have the Blu-ray and it looks amazing on a television. So as far as if you already have it, like how much of an upgrade this is going to be, not much. I don't know what extra is coming with it. So again, it's like the double dip on there really is not for me. What do you guys? Are you guys getting this one? Brian says it will go lower. All brand new Shout 4Ks are about 30 bucks. Yeah, no, and that's the reality. But like as things are creeping up, like seeing a $40 price tag is a little bit of a sticker shock, even though we do know Amazon lowers the price when it gets released. It's starting to feel like a sticker shock. I love Texas 3. I hope it comes to 4K. Yeah. I hope that's the reality. I hope all movies come to 4K, even if they're not for me. There's if I don't like the movie, I don't care. Like I hope it comes to 4K because most of the time, like other than that Demeter double dip, like that's a big double dip because it just got released. But for the most part, it's about preservation and preserving some of these older films and making sure that they get 4K releases and remasters and restored. Like that's a huge thing for me. I just think like if we had a whole over the years, like it's pretty much since cinema has been a thing, we've lost hundreds, if not more, movies. Like there's been fires that have destroyed movies forever. There's like, hundreds, if not thousands of lost movies forever. And like Nosferatu, there was that whole story where, they were told to destroy them all because the whole copyright infringement, but then they found one eventually. So that, sometimes this stuff appears, but, film is flammable and it also deteriorates. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I think everything should come to 4K. JJ the Collector says they keep the price high to keep resellers away, but recently they don't drop the price low enough. And that I feel. That I definitely feel. I feel that and I always did have that kind of mindset where like it has that giant price because it seems like the reseller problem is an American thing. Like I know it happens all over the world, but there have been things that I've purchased in other countries because that version was quite a bit cheaper or like a normal price where here in America they're asking like $100 for a crappy Mill Creek Blu-ray that has an echo case and there's nothing special about it other than the fact that you might like the film and it's not available so it's $100 but you can get the same damn film for like 15 bucks in another country and then have it shipped from Amazon. Like it's one of those things that the eBay reseller scalping thing seems like a real American problem. So maybe that's why they really started it in the first place. But you're right. I think that they don't lower it enough. It doesn't stay. It's kind of frustrating. It's very frustrating. And then like lately, it's just like a sticker shock. Night 90 of Living Robert says, One of my favorite comedies is The Great Outdoors. Oh, it's a top-notch comedy. We watch that film probably a dozen times a year, like tons of times in the summertime. But if there's any point where like just to pop in a background movie, like if I know I'm going to be busy, but and I'm not sure, at the inappropriate level, if there's something, because I got a 7-year-old still runs around the house. And so like if I don't want to just pop in something I've never seen before and maybe there's an appropriate stuff. So I throw in The Great Outdoors because it's a classic. I know the film, I love it. And so that one literally gets watched in our house probably a dozen times a year or more. It's a great film. And yeah, he says, I would love to see that in 4K. I love John Candy. Yeah, I would love, like, that one is high on my list. But there's like a bunch of John Candy films that would just be a great 4K box set that would just be great. There's a few of them I have over on my shelf that I'm pretty sure only got the DVD, or they're like super long out of print, like Armed and Dangerous. I don't know if it's out of print or just never got a Blu-ray, but I only have the DVD and it's on that shelf because it's gone. And that's a great fun one too. Eugene Levy's in that one. That's a good one. Blue Corner says, try having $35 to $40 as standard price for regular 4K titles here in Denmark. Yeah, the Denmark thing. With no slips, no digital, more and more without Blu-rays. Yeah, and the cutting corners thing, like I don't mind necessarily like the no Blu-ray thing, and I know some people love it. Some people love it, but like I don't mind the no Blu-ray thing, especially if I'm upgrading a copy. It's not that big of a deal. But cutting the corners, at least like on the packaging, like it's just I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And that's why like I went and I made that video yesterday, because getting your own cases and putting that in, just because all the companies are cutting corners now. And that right there is a huge thing for me. But the having the Blu-ray, you can even go as far as like if you're going to upgrade, getting those better cases and switching out the cases and just getting the 2 packs and throwing your Blu-ray in it if you already had it. If it's an upgrade. If it's not an upgrade, then it's one of those things you're kind of out. But yeah, that is expensive for just a no frills edition. $35-$40 is kind of crazy. And then if you're also importing, because it being in Denmark, if it's not available where you are, like I don't know what the taxes are and shipping and all that, but it's expensive for me to order stuff from most countries. So yeah, yeah, no frills. And that was a one thing I did notice. I don't know what you guys have in Denmark, but one of the things that like I noticed here is most of my movies, especially recently, the 4Ks, there's a static menu screen and there's just the image, that's it. And sometimes there's music, sometimes it's really whatever. But almost all of my foreign imports have the motion menus. And so like I don't know if you're starting to see less of that or if that's becoming a standard elsewhere, but so far almost I don't think I've had a single import that didn't have a motion menu. Uncle Buck is another one of my favorites. 4K, please. Oh yeah, Uncle Buck is just phenomenal. So Uncle Buck would be a good one. So I want Armed and Dangerous. That's a good one. But Harry Crumb. Like who's Harry Crumb? That's a fun one if you've never seen it. He plays that like goofball investigator. What was that? There was I forget that I have the movie. I forget the name of it. It's a one where there's a whole cast like John Belushi's in it. Um, this old lady dies. This old lady's murdered, and then they find this dog. They find this like dachshund or dash hound or whatever you want to call it. They find this dog on a train, and they want to bring it back to the lady for a reward. But then she's dead. Somebody murdered her, and then all these people are being investigated for the murder, and John Candy's in it. That's a fun movie. I just don't remember the name of it. But if you guys remember it, let's see, John Candy. There's so many good ones though. John Candy. Let's see. Obviously, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. That's a fun one. I love it. We already have the 4K. Blues Brothers. He's in that. Canadian Bacon's a good one. Wagons East. I've never seen that, but I have it over here still, and it's on VHS, and I've never even opened it yet. So it's something that I kind of want to see, but I've just never had an urge to. But I do have it. Let's see other John Candy movies. Oh, he's like in that very small scene in Career Opportunities, which is I love that film too. Nothing But Trouble. That's one of my all-time favorites. And then we just got the Blu-ray. I think like not too long ago, like a year or two ago. So we just got the Blu-ray. A 4K would be great. That's one of my favorites. Uncle Buck. Yeah, Who's Harry Crumb is great. Great Outdoors. Let's see. Summer Rental's coming. Kino Lorber just announced that they're doing that this year or 2025, where we should be getting Summer Rental. That's a great one. Brewster's Millions, one of my all-time favorites, and that's a remake that's been remade a million times. So that Brewster's Millions actually was first a silent film, and then in like the 20s and 30s, it was remade multiple times. And then there was like I think one in the 40s around that time, and then there wasn't one until the Richard Pryor one. So that's a movie that I absolutely love, but I only ever saw the Richard Pryor one in the 80s growing up, and that's my favorite. And I've watched some of the other older ones, but the Richard Pryor, John Candy one, top notch. Let's see. We have all those. Yeah, that one I'm thinking of, 1941. That's a silly film. I have that on VHS. Not a silly film. It's more like a spoof. It feels like a spoof when I watch that one. I can't think of that damn movie. Anyway, that movie I was talking about with where they find the dog and they're in Italy or something. I think they're going to Rome. I like that one. That's a good one. He plays a gambler who sucks. He's like an American gambler. He marries a rich lady and he sucks at gambling and loses all his money. Oh, it's a fun movie. Like people don't care about the DVD not being included in the Blu-ray releases anymore. Same deal. Yeah, same thing. I like very rarely do I, because like if the special features are on that disc, then yeah, that kind of sucks if there's no special features on your 4K. But if they're gonna keep doing that and the cutting corners and just giving us a 4K, 100% fine because I always looked at it as like a selling point. So if you don't have a 4K unit yet or you don't have a Blu-ray unit yet, if you buy the Blu-ray or the 4K and it comes with a DVD or it comes with a Blu-ray, you can still enjoy the film until you purchase a unit. But this stuff isn't crazy expensive anymore because I know when like DVD first came out, the DVD player was like $1,000. Same thing with the Blu-ray players; they were like $1,000 because I had the PlayStation 3 and that was like the cheapest Blu-ray player, and that was like $600. So I understand that if they're including both discs, but at a certain point, like the stuff's super affordable, stop including them. But I want my special features on the 4K disc. Like that's the thing that's kind of frustrating because what was it, Hellboy? Hellboy had on the Blu-ray had a DVD included, and there were special features that are only on that DVD that never made it to the 4K version because they never ported it over. And I'm pretty sure the Blu-ray that was included was the original old Blu-ray. Night 90 says, "Do 4Ks look too dark on your television? If not, what type of size TV do you have? I'm meaning to upgrade." So that's a complicated question. So the easiest thing is no. I have a Sony OLED. It's a 65-inch television. The OLED is going to give you a brighter, clearer picture, but it also has to do with calibrating your TV, and everybody's going to do it differently. But going to like what people generally like, there's arguments of like what movies look best and what movies don't. But generally, when the majority of everybody's saying like The Revenant looks amazing on 4K, and if you pop that in, it's got a dark image, you don't like it. Going back and recalibrating your TV because everyone's going to have a lot of the newer TVs, even depending on what you buy, it's going to have DNR built in, the motion flow, all these extra bells and whistles to help give you a better picture. There are a lot of early 4K movies that have that darker wash over it, but even on the OLED, those are noticeable. But all of the newer ones, I've only noticed a darker wash or darker because the settings are off. And having kids and a family, like they mess with stuff all the time. So I've actually had to recalibrate my television, and I've had it for about a year and a half now, and I've had to recalibrate it probably 4 times. And then there was like a store demo mode that would automatically like reset everything to factory settings and then put these like super bright for the store demo, and it would do it after like 15 minutes. And so I didn't know that one of the people in my house had put that on, so I recalibrated it, and then I thought everything was fine. I put it in a movie and I was like, this looks like crap, and that was the problem. So yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than here's my TV. Check your settings, check your calibration first, and go to like what everyone says are like the top 5 best looking 4Ks ever. Try those out. And if they look good to you, then obviously it's, it could be just you might need a newer TV. But a lot of the older ones, I do know that they had darker wash over them. My Snatch, no matter what I do, the VHS, the Blu-ray, the DVD, all look better. And the Snatch 4K looks great. Like it's an incredible transfer, but it has a gray wash over the entire thing. And so the Snatch 4K, I prefer the Blu-ray image, even though my TV is completely calibrated right. I have the OLED, like the daytime scenes, just comparing the two, huge difference. And then there's one scene where he's sitting at the desk and everybody else is sitting on the sofa. That whole scene, especially when he's in the desk, it's very dark. And on the Blu-ray, it's not. So it's one of those things, like some color grading has been done to kind of hide imperfections or whatever, but there hasn't been a standard. And things are moving. It seems like things are moving more to a standard. And because I know a lot of the new 4Ks that I've gotten this year, incredible. So it's, I hate to say it, it's a little more complicated than just getting a Sony OLED. But if you get a Sony OLED, it's a good start. I don't know how to properly calibrate the TV, I think. That is a lot of people's problems too. So it's a way more complicated thing. I might do a video soon because like I think it's more complicated than just me kind of do it on here. But just a real quick, get the top 5, just whatever the top 5 favorite discs. I know the Revenant's one, reference discs. Like if you have them, look at those and then play them. Just watch them, check them out, and from there, put everything back to your factory settings. And then I would turn all of your bells and whistles, special features that are in your TV off, and you have everything like set to 0 or off, and then calibrate your colors to where you like it. So me personally, I like a little bit more saturation. So I like a little bit red amped up. And so if it was from 0, I like it to be like a 2 or a 3, no more than 4, like, increasing on the dial, but every TV is going to be different as well. And I've always done that. Even on these old tube TVs, I've always amped up my reds a little bit because I like the saturation, but not a lot. Like obviously if you do it too much, it's crazy. But if you amp up all your bells and whistles and special features, you're going to get the waxy pictures. Everyone that cries about the camera and films and how they're horrible and just bad transfers. If you have all your settings like low or off, you're not going to get that. It's going to be a beautiful picture. So I would start there, get the colors exactly where you want them, and then start adjusting all of your other stuff, all your bells and whistles, turn some stuff off. And obviously trying it out, it's going to take a while. Like when I calibrate my TV, it takes me a good hour, and it's switching discs out, trying things I've watched like a million times. I know exactly how they should look, but then also like the standard, these are the top 10 best 4K movies ever, and trying those. And then seeing what it looks, if there's a huge difference. And then this feature turning on, because every TV is different and there's no manual as to what this feature is going to do to your picture. You're just kind of guessing. So turning stuff off and turning it on. And I set the colors like you have vivid, cinema mode, movie mode, game mode. You have all those modes on your TV. I set all of those to have the colors to be exactly the same, exactly how I like it. And then from there, you can actually switch your different modes to turning some features on and some features off, or maybe your motion blur, whatever they call it, maybe that's a middle. And then you switch them. And then so when you put your disc in, you can just from the button switch between the certain things so you can see very quickly what picture you might like a little bit better. But the Revenant's a great one to start with because it's all that snow and really bright. And one of the times where my kids messed it up, I popped it in because I just found it at the thrift store. I picked it up for $2, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's one of the best films ever, best 4Ks, best looking." I popped in, and I was like, "This is gray and crappy and horrible," and so I reset my TV based on just that knowledge of everyone in the world is saying it's amazing. So a little bit more complicated, but maybe I'll make a video at some time. Yeah, factory settings usually suck on 4K TVs. Oh, believe me, man, I had the Sony, so when I got it. And if I didn't know any better, I used to work at Circuit City when I was a kid. And so like I sold big screen television. So I'm very familiar of like every TV's different, every setting's going to be different. And then when the people get home, like I would sell like really good televisions, and then people would try to return them and get something else because they thought it was a crappy picture, and then I'd have to go to their house and like show them that it was just set up wrong. So I'm fully aware of like that's a big issue. But when I got my Sony, I was just like, oh my God, because factory settings of it, like the standard factory settings, the hertz setting like is off. So like the frame rate's off. So when you put anything in, like if you put in like a low crappy like Blu-ray, not crappy Blu-ray, but you put like a crappy movie that you don't care about that doesn't have like a lot of action, a lot of motion, a lot of stuff like that. You put in a Blu-ray and it's fine. But then when you put in like a 4K with like all kinds of action, it has like a frame rate issue where it kind of like stutters, and then it also looks like super hyper realistic. And so having the factory settings out of the TV, just garbage, absolute garbage. Yeah, it's gonna be a thing. Just follow a TV YouTuber and they'll teach you. Yeah, and there's a few of them like that. That's a good start. But even then, um, you know, I've had some issues where like it wasn't perfect. But yeah, that's a great start too. Like there's plenty of like TV YouTubers. There's plenty of them. You can literally probably just type in the model number of your TV and how to calibrate it or best settings for it. And there's going to be guys like just you can tell they're not a tech YouTuber, and it's just a guy with the TV showing you what he did. Don't follow that guy. Don't follow that. There's a Asian guy that does it, and that's all he does. He like literally gets every single television and sets them up and shows you how to do it. Like that's a good guy to follow. But yeah, type in your model number and check it out. That's a good start. It's a really good start. But then also double check on those top 5, top 10 favorite reference disc blue or 4Ks, and that'd be a great start. There's that. Yeah. All right. That was a big tangent, but let's get back on course. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, so this is one that if I didn't have it, it'd be another day one purchase. Now we're looking at this price. Now I still might pick it up. Let me share the screen. Let's see. Let's share. All right. So it's John Carpenter's Vampires. Now this is something that one I actually love. I think it's a very underrated John Carpenter film. Like I think it's a very underrated vampire flick. So this is something that coming out. You're looking at Shout Factory coming out in January 2025. I've had the indicator version. I've had the indicator Blu-ray for a long time, and I think my version is Region B. So I have to use my region free player for it. That's one I might pick up on the 4K just because it's been quite a while since I picked it up. I love the film. Yeah, that one might be. I like it. But yeah, that $40 price range, $30 is kind of pressing a double dip. I don't know. Maybe we'll see January, because I know January we got Bewitched coming out in print, and I Dream of Jeannie. Those are really pricey TV shows that I'm trying to get, and yeah, that one might not be a day one, but I like it. I like that film. If you haven't seen it, good vampire flick, and not my top favorite John Carpenter film, but easily my top 5. There's that one. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are into that one at all, but yeah, it's one that was on my radar a little bit. And like if I said, if I didn't already have it, it would be a day one purchase. Now here's something that I might try to go back. So I was kind of, it's on the pricier side too. Like all this stuff is getting pricier and pricier, but this is something that I didn't get it initially, and now we're in volume 5. So to go back and try to get all that other stuff, especially if it's like sold out and scalper prices, is kind of rough. So I haven't checked into all that stuff, but this one here I'm interested in because I like one of the things, talking about Saturday afternoon films and the movies that we like and the movies that we grew up with. One thing that I think is really missing is kung fu films and Hong Kong cinema. Like that stuff was a staple on Saturday afternoons. So the Shaw Brothers stuff, Volume 5, I might be into it. Because we're missing anything like that. We haven't had anything like that, since I was a kid. So this is something that I know a few people have been talking about it. There is some excitement around this one. But like I said, I've missed all the other volumes, and I feel like as a collector, I can't just grab volume 5 unless like all the other films just really are horrible and I hate them. then I would be fine with it. It's one of those things. Like I am kind of a numbers guy, which it doesn't kill me, but like when I get all the criterions, like I know where they go because they're numbered, but then I'm like, oh, I don't have those numbers. Then I'm like, well, realistically, I don't like those movies. So so I've made peace with it, but I am a numbers guy. So to get volume 5 and not have the other 4, it would kind of frustrate me. Hey, what's up, Chase? AV Pop Culture. Great guy. Check him out. Doing great things over on his channel too. I love vampires. A top 10 vampire film for me. Yes. John Carpenter's Vampires is easily top 10. Easily. Uh, let's see. Blue Corner says, I have the Indicator Vampires too. Thinking of yeah, right. But it sucks because Indicator has special features that split over 2 releases, Vampires and Ghost of Mars. Oh, so I still haven't got the Ghost of Mars, but they recently did their sale, so I'm getting it. And I didn't know that some of those special features made it to that one as well. So it's something that in my double dipping, and I've done it. I know a lot of people have done it, but getting multiple copies of some of your favorite movies. Right back there, you can see I got my Christmas stuff up already because for me, it's already Christmas in the house. Because this month is, I'm not going to tell you the day, but this month my daughter's having her birthday, and our tradition on her birthday is to put up the Christmas tree, put up the Christmas decorations, and that's when Christmas movies start. So we're getting into that mood very quickly. But yeah, multiple versions of a movie aren't a big deal to me. And so that one, Vampires, because it makes a top 10, I double dip on it. I don't know if I'm going to double dip right away. I don't think it's going to be a day one for me, but I definitely want to get it. Let's see, what is this? Chase says, I wish Scream Factory had done Vampires in the big black box collector set like they've done for every other John Carpenter release. That would be nice. It would be nice. Like, and yeah, like, because what they did the big black box, they also did all those like extra tchotchkes. You had the vinyl record pressing. Like, yeah, that's why I think that's why I'm frustrated, because when you go back to that one, and I know we're already on this one. We're already over that. Let's go back to Vampires, because why not? So yeah, going back to this. So the Vampires thing at the price point, we know this stuff's going to be expensive. It's fine, but I think that's what I'm frustrated. So the double dip is frustrating because it's just a simple. There's not probably not any special features that we don't already have. Then you also have, this is just a boring, plain, simple release. It's nothing special. So again, it's not a day one. Now, it doesn't need to be in like a big, chunky extra box all the time. But I think a release like this, like Chase said, like, why wasn't it released in the better set like all the other Carpenter films? I don't know. I agree, 100%. Let's see. Blue Corner says Arrow has Volume 3 of Shaw Scope coming out this month, and yeah, there's no doubles between Shout and Arrow. Yeah, it's one of them things. One of them things. Yeah, it's one. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to try to get all them Shaw movies at some point and try to figure it out somehow. Maybe I'll Frankenstein it. I don't know. It's been a while. The Kung Fu stuff, I kind of like it. I miss it. Admiral Whack-Ass. Ah, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, the Vampires thing, big fan. But yeah, I don't know, probably not a day one still. If it was like in a nice collector set, or there's anything, or there was like stuff that I didn't already have, like more special features, just something there. There were, hey, by the way, you're getting this. Even if they, and I don't always get the posters, but even if they did like a poster or something, I would probably be like in a little bit, because I did pick up the Elvira. Elvira did a signature. So on when they released her movie last year, a couple years ago when they released it, you can get the limited edition poster, and it's actually her. It's not just a print; like she actually signed it. It's marker, and so that's a cool thing that I got. You give me something like that, day one all day. But yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to maybe wait on. Maybe a sale for me. Got that. But yeah, the next thing I think is this one. This one I'm excited for. So this one is getting a lot of traction, and I think the price point's fair. The price right now on Amazon, the pre-order price is $31.24, and it's coming from it's a January. Yeah, January 4K here. And it is it's a movie that's getting a lot of traction. A lot of people are talking about it, and it's going to be a huge blind buy because I haven't seen it, but I'm into it. I like the trailer. All of the people that have recommended, I highly trust them. Substance. So this is something that I think it's up my alley. I get the body horror, but you can't go wrong. I'm kind of into it, and I hear nothing but good things from it. So that's something I'm gonna probably get day one. Comes out in January. If not January, I'm definitely picking it up in February. So 31.24. I think that's just a better price point to see that on Amazon, as opposed to the $40 price points. I don't know. Like as the stuff gets starting to more and more expensive, it's starting to feel like a gut punch every time I see a bigger price. So yeah, I think I'm all in at $30. Let's see. Blue Corner says the Shaw Brothers did a lot of movies. Yeah, that's what I said. I said maybe Frankenstein it. There might have to be like somewhere just maybe not get them all, but all the collections that get put out. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw The Substance. I know that a lot of people have been talking about it, so it's something I'm in 100%. And Demi Moore, you can't go wrong. I don't think you go wrong with Demi Moore. Let's see, we got that one. And here's a classic movie from the 80s. And I know this has had a release before. So this one is now coming out through Kino Lorber. And as they are doing their 4K movies. So this one here is something that I'm pretty sure people got to be talking about this one because it was just a great film. And, I think like around the time that I found Sleepaway Camp, this is around the time I found this film. So I don't have it in the collection, and it would be a first time for the collection, but it wouldn't be the first time I've seen it. And it is April Fool's Day. This is just a fun killer slasher movie, just all around. I high recommend for me, and it has been put out before. So I think Scream Factory put one out a couple years ago or last year, sometime. I know that there's another release of this, but as far as getting a 4K, I don't know if we had a 4K before because I don't have it at all. But this is going to be probably a day one. I like Kino Lorber, and the few Kino Lorber 4Ks, I think they've knocked them out of the park. And I think this one would have a nice place on the shelf for me. But yeah, this is a good one. And if that's the poster art that they go with, big fan because I think the last time I saw anything of like a physical media home video release of this, I don't recall seeing that movie poster, and I believe that's like the original one from the 80s. Black says, I'm not trying to be rude, but I've always wondered why YouTubers who discuss 4K movies don't typically upload their content in 4K themselves. Well, I used to. So I used to, and I actually went with the method of if everything's super hyper realistic, like it actually eats up a ton of resources on my computer. So I enjoy them, but I also watch these on a regular basis. So I have VHS tapes, I have an old CRT television here. So for me, it's not the format, but I do have a 4K television and I like that. But why I don't upload is because realistically it eats up so much resources on my computer that this is almost impossible. So, in the reality of me upgrading a ton of equipment, it's not there. And I know some of the biggest YouTubers ever have that same philosophy. Like Mr. Beast does not upload anything in 4K. So it's one of those things. Now, if I was a tech channel and I was actually doing tech stuff, then yeah. Now, if I do like side by side comparisons, I actually rip my discs. So I rip them and then I have the 4K file. So if I'm just trying to show a 4K comparison, I do that. And and also the Blu-ray as well. So I will upload that and show the highest quality, but you don't need to see me in 4K. I don't think it's necessary. Like says, anyway, love your content, bro. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we spend the money on 4K movies over 4K camera. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is this camera here is a 4K camera, but I'm telling you, like it literally when I would edit a video, not just even the live stuff, when I would edit my videos, it would take me like I used to put out one video a week and it would take me days to like edit content because the computer would just get so bogged down and I couldn't do anything. It was impossible because I actually have I don't know, not a ton, but there's a few videos, like some of my older ones that are all 4K content, but that took days and days and days to upload. And I was like, this just works. Not upload, but to edit. And Chase says 4K eats space and upload time. Yeah, I still do in 4K, but it eats time and space for sure. Oh, for sure, 100%. And it wasn't like the thing. Now, if I ended up getting like a nice 4K camera and I was recording in 4K off of there, I still would have the issue of uploading and or editing. Still, the time and the editing would just my camera or my computer's shits the bed, I guess. Live stream in 4K takes a lot of PC power too. Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. Like this right here, I think I only do 720 just because I have crappy internet too. It's one of those things. I think this is the best way because like I said, nobody needs to see me in 4K. But if I am doing a side by side, I do rip my discs. I don't just take screenshots from the camera, from the phone, from the TV. I rip the disc and I put in when I did my Adams Family values side by side, the 4Ks. I ripped the disk and I took all that information from the files and I put it over. And now there's still going to probably be some compression and all that jazz, but I did do that. 80s May is right. My computer is set up to edit and color feature films, and it's still time consuming. Oh yeah, yeah. I used to have like a regular crappy consumer computer. I don't have anything special like that. Let's see. Brian says the April Fool is the same as the DVD art. Oh, is it? My DVD has yellow and red and black around instead of white and gray. Oh, okay, that's cool. I know that because let me double check now because I swear, like I believe you on your DVD. It's been a while. I haven't seen a DVD, but I swear that let's see. Let's share this. That the let's see, what is this? April Fools. April. That somebody else put this out, and I don't know if they put it out in Blu-ray or 4K. So, yeah, this art is available in other countries, but then what we got here in America for just the Blu-ray is this like hodgepodge, like modern art looking like a Scream Factory release. Let's share that screen. But yeah, some of the other countries had that too. So yeah, this is what I think I remembered. Because I'm that original art that they're showing, I like it. It's top notch. So that's the original one. That's the original one too. Where's this? There it is. All right. So this right here. So you have that was what I remembered, and it looks like a Scream Factory, yeah, Shout Factory. So that's what I remembered seeing recently, and I never got it because I like painted movie posters and I like the art, but for whatever reason, I didn't like this, and I kind of passed on it, and it had been such a while since I'd seen the movie. And yeah, this came out in 2020, so about 4 years ago we had this release. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be getting the new one. Definitely getting the new one. Wasn't the guy who played Biff? Wasn't he in that movie? It was a fun one. I haven't seen it probably. I don't know. Been at least been 20 years since I've seen that movie. I think the Scream Factory is the only new artwork. Yeah, all those other countries they had the original, and then there was the Cohen release, that one that has like a gray bar on top, but it had that original movie poster too. Black says the blue corner. I was thinking. Oh, we're talking to each other. All right. If we could get a sneak preview of the content, just to get a sense of what's to come. Let's see. The camera isn't a big concern, and this isn't about his channel at all. Oh, you guys are talking. Gotcha. All right. So anyway, let's see. What do we got? We got April Fool, Houseboat. So now this is one, I mentioned it earlier at the beginning of the stream. Now this is one, it's an older release. It's an older film, but it's one that, it's another one that I really got into because my dad passed away, and it's something that he absolutely loved. Let's see, we're out of there. Actually won't go there now. Let's see. Houseboat. Let me go back to the old one. So it's a Houseboat is getting a 4K from Kino Lorber. Let me go here. Let's see. Let's see. The link I had was dead. Go back into this. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, this was just announced 6 days ago. And so the pre-order is January 28th. And I like the cover because I never liked this either. But like I said, Sophia Loren with the short hair, not a fan. Not a fan. But I like Sophia Loren. This is coming out. Looking forward to it. This is one of, like I said, this is one of the ones that it became one of my favorites after my dad passed. But I've been trying to get all the Cary Grant films. It's an older one. I like the cover. That's for me was always a fun film, and glad that the Kino's putting this out. And I think it's going to be a pretty decent price point because so far the Kino films have all been a pretty decent price point, and not a lot of extra special packaging and all that. But just the fact that they're going with that original movie poster as opposed to this, big fan. So that for me is on my radar, and maybe not a day one. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff in January, end of December that I really want to get. So it's on my radar, but that's one I'm going to be adding to the collection at some point. Let's see. Houseboat, Reindeer Games. So this one we also talked about earlier, but here's the actual link to it. And high recommend. This is a day one purchase no matter what. Absolutely love this one. Like I said, I literally just watched the DVD in preparation for this, and it's a day one for me. So Reindeer Games coming out of Kino Lorber in January 14. So that's going to be a day one purchase for me. Big fan. And where is this? So this one here is as you watch it. So Gary Sinise has an amazing performance in this. And like everyone that has seen it, they always talk about Ben Affleck, Charlize Theron, the pool scene, her underwear scene, like those things. But for me, this is just a great, it is a Christmas movie. I don't care what you say kind of film. And, Gary Sinise is just a great villain in this. Absolutely like it. Very believable. And the twist in here, I like it. I absolutely love the twist. And it's one of those things that certain movies like that, where, the twist is so revealing that you're like, how are you going to watch this again? This has high rewatchability for me. That's a day one purchase. 100%. 100%. I don't know if you guys are picking up. I know a few in the earlier when I mentioned, I know a few guys said they were picking it up, but that's a good one. Definitely a good one. Let's see. Close that out. And then so next on the list is the Russ Meyer stuff. Now, I was introduced to the Russ Meyer stuff not at an early age, but I have a friend out in California. He's a comic book artist, and in his artistry, he's known for drawing women with humongous chests, like over exaggerated, ridiculous, humongous chests. And I always try to figure out like why, like something like that. There's like, there's a reason for it. Like everything he draws, like that's how it is. And that's what he's been known for. And it's totally fine. It's his thing, whatever. I'm a leg guy. I'm not really a chest guy. I mean, there has to be some chest, but like this stuff is ridiculous. And I tried to figure it out. And we were friends for a while. And then he was trying to show me this trailer for a movie that was coming out. And it was from Russ Meyer. And I was like, I get it now. So if you've never seen a Russ Meyer film, these films right here, these films right here. So there actually a couple of them are being released, and the looks like a Vixen trilogy here. And these are, let me share the screen. So Vixen, then there's like a sequel and a trilogy. Here we go. The upcoming Russ Meyer films. Okay, so we have, let's see. Share this up. Okay. So we have Vixen, and then we have Super Vixens, and then we have Beneath Ultra Vixens. And if you watch these trailers, they're just schlocky sexploitation, giant chested women. And he said he used to watch it as like a kid, like an 8, 9, 10 like kid. I'm like, oh, I get why you draw the comics the way you do now. And so that's where I was introduced to Russ Meyer. But yeah, this stuff is exactly how you see it. It's what it is. And this is coming out of Severin Films. It's from the 60s, and these will be out in January. So they are also getting on 4K. So while they might not be for everybody, I am glad that this stuff is being preserved and restored for a next degenerate generation. So if you love these films, they're coming out. I'm going to pass on them, but I'm familiar with Russ Meyer just because of my friend in California. Yeah. So that's something that, yeah, I don't know if you guys were familiar with this at all, but that's exactly what it is. Let's see, close those out. And then, so we got Reindeer Games, Russ Myers. Now, here's one that Imprint put this out a while ago. And if you are a, now, UK Arrow is putting this out. We're not getting a version here in America, but you can get the 4K. It's region free. If you don't have a region free player, you can grab that 4K, which is top notch. I like the art on this, but I have the Imprint version on the Blu-ray, and I do think the Blu-ray is fine. I think the 4K would do wonders because it was a movie that was recorded on film back in the day. So I never looked to see if mine was remastered or if it had a 2K scan or anything like that. But it's been out for a little while. So The Gift, now this one right here, I absolutely love the artwork. I think it's top notch. But now Keanu Reeves is a villain. He doesn't usually do villain roles, but in this, he's not like the major villain too. He's just kind of a shitty guy, a bad guy. But The Watcher is one of my favorite Keanu Reeves films where he's obviously a villain. It's not, I mean, there's so many other films that I would put higher than The Watcher, but for bad guy films that, people that don't normally play them, I like The Watcher. But The Gift, Keanu Reeves is very believable in this. And when I remember being a kid and you watch the TV spots, because back in the day, before we had internet, before anybody could really talk about movies like we do, they would push anytime something was coming out, they would have these like TV spots and they would have interviews by, the actors in there, and they would just kind of a little bit of a free for all, and they would just talk about stuff. And the one thing I remembered was the director wanted them to really get a feel for their characters. So they told them to just drive around the town. So the town that they would be filming in is a small town, and they literally were just in a pickup truck driving around creating their characters. And so they had an idea of what they were expected to do and expected to be, but then they were like, putting on a little bit of their accents and their little bit, because it's kind of a southern thing, a little bit of a twang, and then like creating these characters while driving around. And I always remembered that, and I thought it was really great. And the performance Keanu Reeves gives in this film, I think, is absolutely top notch. So this one's coming out in January out of the UK Arrow site. So that's a high recommend from me. Like I said, I have the Blu-ray. I don't know if I'm going to get this day one, but the 4K, it is on my radar. Let's see, what else we got? And the last thing we got before we wrap this up, and I'm going to be wrapping it up soon because I think we've been probably going for about an hour, and that means family time. So loved hanging out with you guys. If you have any last minute questions, get them in now before I wrap it up, because last time I said I was wrapping it up and I said goodbye, there was like a bunch of questions popping in, but we do have that. So this last one here that we're talking about comes out in January. And this is something that, from what I understand, it might be a TV movie because I've never heard of it. And so like I'm just assuming it's a TV movie. I've been trying to get all the Burt Reynolds films. And so this one here, one I absolutely love. Oh, that's not it. Why does it keep doing that? Share the right screen. All right, so fade in right here. So this one here, I like the cover art. I like the old style painted movie posters. I like what they're going here. But this is a Kino Lorber release. Comes out in January. Fade in. High on my radar because trying to get every single Burt Reynolds film. I don't have them all, but I have my all-time favorite Burt Reynolds film is Smokey and the Bandit. But I found quite a few of them over the past year trying to get some of them. He did a movie called Heat, and in that movie I thought was really funny because obviously we all know that Burt Reynolds was famous for having a toupee. In the movie, have you ever seen the movie Hitch? So like that movie with Will Smith, and he gets paid to kind of, or not Hitch, the one with Dane Cook, My Best Friend's Girl. So he gets paid to ruin people's dates, and so then they go back to the other guy, the loser guy that they were kind of into before, and so there's that kind of premise. That's what this is. So Heat is like that, and so Burt Reynolds he starts off in the beginning like this twerpy loser guy. He's bullying him, and then in bullying him, he rips his toupee off. Not and so like and then makes fun of him for being bald. So to watch Burt Reynolds tear somebody else's tear piece off and make fun of him for being bald, I just thought was iconically ridiculous. Like it was absolutely. I died laughing. I thought it was ridiculous. Now, that one right there, that whole premise, and then you find out like he's bullying the guy, beating the guy up, but then the guy paid him to so the girl would like him. It's the same premise that they used with the Dane Cook film. I thought it was great. So yeah, I've been finding a lot more Burt Reynolds gems just from trying to collect them all. So this is high on my radar. Again, it's not a day one because there's so much other stuff coming out in January, but this one I've never seen it before. And from what I'm thinking, it might just be a TV movie. So uh, what is a good, trustworthy, region-free player to get? So there have been like talks. There's the one. There have been talks where there's a couple like the Panasonic I have, the UB9000. There have been people that have been able to like punch codes in, or just like I don't know if it's button mashing or just pure luck. They've been able to like do a combination of codes on the remote to make it region free. But I bought mine modified, and so like whatever one, like you can get a region free player for $100, and you can get a nice Sony for $100, and it just works. And then they have pretty much every version available that we have now. They modify those, and so you can get whichever one you want, and the modification is held for life. So if it fails whatever, they will cover it and you're good to go. There have been a couple that claim that are region free, and I can't verify it, because I haven't had my experience, and all of my knowledge has been nothing's region free unless you modify it. So there has been a couple of things there. I did once build a home theater PC, and I put a 4K Blu-ray player in it, and then I had that where it worked. It was region free, and then Windows did an update, and then it was never region free again. So for about like a month and a half, it worked perfect, and it was just great because I had I had built this entire home theater PC, and I ripped a lot of my TV shows into my Plex server, and I had that connected to my TV, and then it had the Blu-ray player built in, or it was inside it, and so then I was able to watch my region-free movies that way. But like I said, after that update, I could never figure it out. So I went that route. I purchased the Panasonic UB9000 from 220 Electronics. I recommend it, but they have like the least expensive one they have is a Sony. It's like $105, I believe. So they have that one. Then the UB9000 is the flagship Panasonic. It's one of the most expensive. You don't have to get that. The Panasonic, the UB800 or the 420, those ones are like half the price. And the one I got, it has like all the bells and whistles for the high-end surround connection. It has like the outputs for like the 5.1 individual RCA connections. So for sound quality, it's the best. But the regular, like I said, the 820, that's half the price, is a good one. The Sonys, right now to my television, I have a regular, the 800 MX2 Sony, and it's not region free at all. And that's my go-to 4K player. And then I have the UB9000, which is also a 4K player, but I only use it for my Blu-rays. So I wanted it for the sound. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Chase says the Sony 800 MX2. I have both units, but my Panasonic is region free, and his Sony's region free. I use both of them, and I have them both connected. I did a region free video, and I showed that off. So yeah, it was like honestly, it's to each their own. I mean, everybody's going to have their opinion. Most people are going to have the opinion of what they purchased, but my experience is the Panasonic has an amazing picture until I bought my OLED. When I bought my OLED, hooking the Sony MX2 has like the XBR settings in there, and it just ended up having a much better picture that way. And so that's why I use the UB9000 just for my everyday, all day Blu-rays and my region free stuff. Yeah. Chase says, "Oh, yeah, got to get that April Fools." Yes, it's a good one. It's really a good one. It's like I said, I haven't seen it in such a long time, but it's going to be it's going to be high up on my list of things I got to get. big fan. But yeah, I think that's it. We've been going for about an hour and 24 minutes. Thank you everybody for being here, and we'll catch you next Saturday. So remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Oh, don't give me a cat. That's fine.